language acquisition. Without further ado, so let's get started. Welcome to our discussion. First language acquisition. When we say first language acquisition, it is the process of learning the language everyone learns from birth or even before birth when infants acquire their native language. Though many theories have been proposed to explain how children learn their first language, two of the most well-known schools of thought, historically behaviorism, based largely on the writings of psychologist B.D. Skinner, and the theory of innate or universal language ability, promoted by linguist Noam Chomsky. Behaviorist theory states that through the processes of stimulus, response, and reinforcement, all human behavior can be explained, including language acquisition. Behavior which is reinforced tends to be repeated. Behavior which is not reinforced tends to die out or be extinguished. When we say reinforcement, it can be positive or negative. Positive reinforcement involves rewarding desired behavior, such as giving a child praise for completing assignment. Negative reinforcement involves strengthening desired behavior by withdrawing an undesirable or negative stimulus or a situation that is already present. For example, a child who completed his homework on time might be excused from a classroom chore or from an additional assignment. Punishment, on the other hand, differs from reinforcement in that it is intended to weaken undesirable behavior rather than to strengthen desired behavior. Punishment, like reinforcement, can also be positive in the sense of applying an unpleasant consequence for undesirable behavior, or negative in the sense of removing something that is desired. For example, a child who did not finish homework assignment could be required to stay after school hours to complete it. A positive form of punishment, adding something undesirable. Universal grammar and the language acquisition device. Noam Chomsky rejected the behaviorist approach as insufficient to explain observations. He noted that children in every language and cultural community are able to learn to speak and understand language at a very early age. He believed that children are not just mimicking language patterns, but actually producing meaningful utterances on their own. Chomsky argued that language spoken around by children is very complex and irregular, so that children could not possibly learn a language just by mimicking. Instead, he asserted there is an innate ability or device for acquiring language in the human mind that allows all humans to learn and use language almost instinctively. This implies that language can be and is acquired in part because of human condition, the nature of being human, regardless of the difficulty of the language. This innate device is what Chomsky referred to as a language acquisition device, or LDA, an innate human ability to learn, process, and use language. In addition, Chomsky referred to a universal grammar to describe those features that he claimed are shared by all languages. He believed that humans have the ability to acquire grammar without being taught because these shared features are innately internalized in the human mind from birth. We have here the theoretical approaches to first language acquisition. First, behaviorism, say what I say. Second, innatism, it's all in your mind. Third, interactionist or developmental perspectives. Behaviorism. According to Skinner, language behavior is the production of correct responses to stimuli through reinforcement. Language learning is the result of imitation or word-for-word repetition. Practice, repetitive manipulation of form. feedback on success, positive reinforcement, and habit formation. The quality and quantity of the language that the child hears, as well as the consistency of the reinforcement of feared by others in the environment, would shape the child's language behavior. In elitism, Chomsky argues that behaviorism cannot provide sufficient explanation for children's language acquisitions for the following reasons. Children come to know more about the structure of their language than they could be expected to learn on the basis of the samples of language they hear. The language children are exposed to include false starts, incomplete sentences, and slips of the tongue, and yet they learn to distinguish between grammatical and ungrammatical sentences. Children are by no means thematically corrected or instructed on language by parents. Interactionist or developmental perspectives. Language acquisition is an example of children's ability to learn from experience. What children need to know is essentially available in the language they are exposed to. The children's language environment. There is no time limit for learning. All the languages is spoken in the context of surrounding world. The child has many opportunities for using the language to communicate to those around them. The children's learning strategies. Children enjoy the repetitive events of their lives and uses this enjoyment to help them learn. Children uses their primary interest to help them learn. Children direct their attention to things that are easy to understand. Children uses their natural desire to participate in the life around them to help them learn new things or new language. So we have here the characteristics of children's language. First, cawing. Second, babbling. Third, the one-word stage. Fourth, the two-word stage. Cawing. Between 2 to 4 months, the child gradually becomes capable of producing vowel-like sounds such as E and U. Repetition of the vowel sounds express satisfaction or pleasure. In babbling, between 6 to 8 months, the child produces a number of different vowels and consonants, such as ba 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 and ba ba da da, which at times can almost sound like a real speech. Uses consonant B, M, D, and G. In the one-word stage, between 12 months to 18 months, one or two recognizable words resembles words or simple phrases. Words that use their everyday subjects such as milk, cat, and spoon. In the two-word stage, begin around 18 to 20 months, at least 50 different words, simple sentences, grammatically incorrect, and perhaps missing information. Variety in combination words appear. For example, baby chair, daddy car, more milk, and cat bed. By the age of 4, most children are able to ask questions, give commands, report real events, and also create stories about imaginary ones with correct words order and grammatical makers most of the time. Evidence used to support Chomsky in its position. Virtually all children successfully learn their native language at a time in life when they would not be expected to learn anything else so complicated. Language is separate from other aspects of cognitive development, example, creativity and social grace, and may be located in a different module of the brain. The language children are exposed to do not contain examples of all the linguistic rules and patterns. So first word accusation is the first word that the child speaks or says, and it's the process by which the child learns, speaks, and writes, and it's the essential stages of language development in human infants. Children begin learning their language since they're babies. with accurate grammar. Until many years, they will be able to learn language with perfect grammar after going to school, and of course with have some support with their family. So that's it for today. Thank you and God bless everyone.